Now this video might be a little bit off the grid, but it is history, and it is a subject that is debated, has been debated on for decades. Now I just wanted to give my take on it. Now, the better dancer from this seat, without a single doubt, was James Brown. Michael Jackson was an exceptional student. Take nothing away from him. He studied James Brown very well, took a lot of James Brown's moves, and added several of his own. Right? You could say Jackson had more variety than James Brown. No question. That is fairly easy to do when someone comes before you. You can add on to it. That is the pattern in all businesses. They are improved upon. Although Jackson added different dances and steps, from this seat, he could not duplicate what James Brown was doing. In fact, there has been several people who've duplicated Michael Jackson's dancing, Chris Brown being one of them. People who can just dance like Mike. You've never seen anyone dance like James Brown. Brown was on a different level. Michael Jackson was rehearsed, almost 100% rehearsed. The man never freestyled, what I call freestyle dancing. They both had certain dances. James Brown even named some of his dances, right? Mashed potato, the camel walk, so on and so forth, the boogaloo. But the difference is Brown would do those dances in a different way depending on how he felt. His dance moves were really inspired by the music, his feelings. It's equivalent to a rapper who freestyles versus a rapper who does not freestyle. The rapper who freestyles is on a different level. And I'm telling you, James Brown would get up there and freestyle. The way he would transition from dance to dance seamlessly. Throw some stuff that has no name in there. And just raw emotion, spirit, raw soul. Michael Jackson did not dance like that. If Michael Jackson ever tried to dance like James Brown, he would fail every time. You've never seen a man dance like James Brown before James Brown, and you've never seen a man dance like him since. You cannot say that about Michael Jackson. You can't. James Brown, when you look at his feet, they were on a different level from Michael Jackson's feet. Now, Michael Jackson was slick, don't get me wrong. Very smooth. An exceptional student of James Brown. Now, Michael Jackson admitted this, that he looked up to James Brown. Michael Jackson himself called James Brown the master. Because this was that raw soul talent that came out of the churches that you just couldn't duplicate. You couldn't duplicate this stuff. Michael took what he could and included it into dance steps. But Mike knew he couldn't dance like this man. It's just something different. It's just one of those, sometimes, you have special people who are born once every generation, and they are great. Like, say, Muhammad Ali. Then along came Pernell Whitaker. Then came Roy Jones Jr. Then came Floyd Mayweather Jr. But some people are born and you've never seen anything like them before or after their time. That is James Brown. You can't, nobody has been able to dance like that man. Michael Jackson, you know, when I first saw James Brown dancing, I saw some highlights. You know, I heard a lot about him, how good of a dancer he was. So I looked him up and I was just captivated. And I studied his dance moves, if you want to call them that. But I watched him dance for about half hour or so. And I was so captivated that I did not compare him to anybody at the moment. But all of a sudden, Michael Jackson popped up in my head. I'm like, of course, I'm like, who is better than this man? Michael Jackson pops in my mind. So I go right over to a Michael Jackson dance highlight video. And immediately, that was the first time Michael Jackson did not look like the best dancer I've ever seen. That was the first time. I didn't even, it was so step by step. Do this, this, that, that. Now do this, that. Where James Brown was all over the place. All over the, his feet moved like the wings on a bird. James Brown, it was like he was dancing with ice skates on. And he was all over the place. You could not map his dances. You couldn't come behind him and follow him. You could do that with Michael Jackson. You had several people who have duplicated Michael Jackson's dance moves to a T. Nobody, very few people have even attempted to move like James Brown. And I doubt, if you see another dancer who dances like James Brown, it's going to be a long time. Even if they were born right now, that would be an incredible feat because a lot of time had passed before James Brown and since. And we've only seen one dancer like James Brown. So I know a lot of people who grew up under Michael Jackson. I was born in 1977. So I grew up watching Michael Jackson. I grew up in the Jackson era. Hell, my last name is Jackson. Right? I was captivated by Mike. And in my later years, early 20s, I looked up James Brown and I was floored. Right? I was frozen. Could not believe a man could move like that. And it was like, I knew I'd never seen anything like that before. But it was almost like I've seen it before. Because it's the original dancing that had been present in the neighborhoods. Where people just freestyle dance. Where it's from the spirit. It's not planned out, orchestrated, choreographed, none of that. Freestyle dancing. That type of dancing is on a different level. And flat out, nobody could move their legs and feet like James Brown, period. Those are my thoughts. What do you think?